My dad has run a breakfast joint in this urban village for 30 years. The one ironclad rule is, freshly steamed meat buns absolutely cannot be packed for takeout. They must be eaten right here in the shop. He even used red paint to write this half-meter tall rule, slapping it right on the white wall next to the steamers. I never really understood why, until today when he was hospitalized for kidney stones and I came over to help watch the shop. My dad suddenly called me. "Did you let a customer pack the meat buns for takeout? Go chase them down and bring them back right now." Our shop is called Chen's Old Shop. The name is tacky as the abyss, but business has always been booming, especially for the meat buns my dad makes by hand. Thin skin, huge filling, and rich savory broth. Off. Every morning people line up before the sun even comes up. Today before dawn broke, I followed my dad's instructions, arrived at the shop and started working. I took off my jacket, changed into the blue uniform, and started kneading the dough, mixing the filling. I'd been doing this since I was a kid. I could do it with my eyes closed, even though I haven't touched it in a few years. Muscle memory is. The moment I lifted the steamer lid, a thick cloud of piping hot white steam billowed out, carrying the rich aroma of meat that instantly filled the tiny shop. Plump white buns were packed tightly in the steamer, their pleats glistening. "Boss, 2 meat buns and a bowl of soy milk." The first customer was Uncle Wang from the nearby construction site. He's always the earliest one here every day, coming right up. I mimic my dad's tone and reply, quickly bringing the food over to him. Uncle Wang took a bite, hissing from the heat, but still mumbled his praise. Delicious." I smiled without saying a word. After that, more customers started pouring in. "Boss, for meat buns, 2 bowls of plain congee." The shop was soon packed with people. The cramped space was filled with chat, the slurping of kanji, the sounds of chewing, and that distinct lingering smell, a mix of sweat, body odor, and the aroma of everyday food. I was so busy my feet barely touched the ground, collecting money, serving food, clearing tables. I felt a tiny sense of satisfaction. Maybe inheriting this shop wouldn't be so bad after all. The thought had barely crossed my mind when a voice from the door interrupted. Isn't this Chen Hui? Why are you selling buns here?" The voice was shrill and snarky, carrying that sense of superiority I was all too familiar with. I snapped my head up. A man and a woman were standing at the door. The woman was wearing a designer dress, her makeup flawlessly exquisite. She was holding a handbag from a brand I couldn't name, but one look told you it was expensive. It was Lin Yu, the woman I loved for 3 years, thinking we'd make it to the end. But because I couldn't afford the diamond ring she wanted, she dumped me, my ex-girlfriend. The man next to her had a massive beer belly, his hair slicked back with grease. A blinding gold watch on his wrist almost blinded me. One arm was wrapped around Lin Yu's waist, while the other toy with a Land Rover key. I felt all the blood in my body rushed in my head. Talk about enemies on a narrow road. The people I wanted to see least in this world just had to show, covered in flour and sweat, looking like a total joke, while she looked glamorous and elegant, like a haughty princess. "Why are you here?" I squeezed the words through gritted teeth. My voice was dry. Lin Yu looked me up and down, the corner of her mouth twitching up. That look was no different from looking at a stray dog wandering the street. "I came over here with Mr. Y to handle some business. Just dropping by for breakfast. I heard the buns here are famous. I didn't expect it to be your family shop." She said didn't expect, but her tone was dripping with a sarcastic, just as I thought. The fat guy named Wang also chimed in, his voice sounding as slimy as an unwashed pot. "Little Yu, is this the college classmate you were talking about?" He deliberately emphasized the words college classmate. "That's right. Let me introduce you. This is my boyfriend Wang Hao." Hey, I couldn't even be bothered to look at him, coldly tossing out a single word. "Haha, quite the temper, huh? Well, I heard they're especially famous. Pack 10 of them for us." My heart skipped a beat. "Pack for takeout." I instinctively glanced at the words, painted in blood red on the wall. "Sorry, our shop's rule. Freshly steamed meat buns cannot be packed for takeout." I pointed at the red text on the wall, trying to keep my tone as strictly business as possible. This was my dad's absolute rule and my only way to fight back right now. "Didn't you two come here to show off?" "Sorry, but on my turf, even a dragon has to coil up and a tiger has to bow down." Wang Hao clearly didn't give a about this rule. He pulled a stack of 100 yuan bills from his wallet, at least $1,000 and slammed it onto the greasy table. Rules are dead. People are alive. We're enough. He tilted his chin up to the sky, looking down his nose at me. I stared at that blindingly red stack of cash. The customers eating around us all stopped their chops too, looking over at us curiously. Some eyes were just watching not from embarrassment, but from anger. This was a blatant insult too. Did he think money gave him the right to do whatever he wanted? Did he think money could break the rule my dad had kept for 30 years? I don't want your money. I pushed the stack of cash back. My voice is cold. I said no takeout, which means no takeout. If you want to eat, sit down and eat. If you don't, the door is right there. Don't let it hit you on the way out. My attitude completely pissed Wang Hao off. His face darkened, and he slammed his hand on the table, making the vinegar bottle jump. Hey you little punk, I'm giving you face and you're rejecting it. Face, you're just a bun seller. What the abyss are you acting so arrogant for? Believe it or not, I can make sure this shop of yours can't even open tomorrow. Mr. Wang, don't be mad. Lin Yu quickly grabbed his arm, her coquettish tone giving me goosebumps. She turned back to look at me, a hint of a victor's pity flashing in her eyes. Chen Hui, why do you have to be like this? With Mr. Wang's status coming to this rundown shop of yours for just bend the rules a little and it's done. Why make things so tense? What good does it do you? She paused for a moment, her tone shift, like she was lecturing an ignorant child. You're exactly the same as you were in college, poor and stubborn. Your dad clung to this shop his whole life, and what future did that bring? Look at yourself, graduated from a top university, and then what? Aren't you still back here selling buns? Why are you throwing a tantrum at me? Do you even deserve to? Whether I deserve to or not isn't for you to decide. I glared at her, enunciating every word. This is my family's shop, my family's rule. My dad sold buns his whole life and raised me with it. I'm not ashamed. On the contrary, you'd follow any kind of trash just for money. Aren't you ashamed? Linu's face instantly turned beet red. My words clearly hit a nerve. Shen Hui, what the abyss did you just say? Wang Hao completely lost it, rolling up his sleeves and lunging forward to hit me. Stop right there. I grabbed the whiv. Looking for a fight? I glared at him with bloodshot eyes. Touch me and see what happens. I grew up fighting in the slum. Even though working an office job these past few years smoothed out my edges, ferocity of my bones was still there. If we really threw down, this fatasse whose body was hollowed out by booze and women wouldn't even be enough to get stuck in my teeth. Wang Hao was intimidated by my move. He looked at the cleaver in my hand, then at my murderous glare and shrank back. The atmosphere in the shop instantly dropped to freeze. The surrounding customers didn't even dare to breathe too loudly. Fine, you've got guts. Chen Hui, right? I'll remember your face. Let's go. He tried to pull Lin Yu away, but Lin Yu shook off his hand. She glared at me, her eyes filled with vicious resentment. Suddenly she lunged toward the steamer. Catching me off guard, she flipped the lid open. The scalding steam made her shriek, but she moved fast, snatching a few meat buns from inside and shoving them haphazardly into her designer bag. Movements were seamless. Not only am I taking them, she shrieked in my face, a vengeful thrill flashing across her features. Frozen place. I didn't expect her to pull a stunt like this. This wasn't just throwing a tantrum anymore. This was straight-up hooliganism, acting like a total thug. My dad's rules, the principles I had been trying so hard to uphold, now look like a complete joke. Wang Hao was stunned at first, then found it hilarious, burst into loud laughter. Well done, little you. This is exactly how you deal with this kind of trap. Ha 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 ha. He smugly wrapped his arm around Lin Yu, shooting me a provocative side-eye. Then the two of them swaggered out the door, disappearing at the end of the alley. I stood rooted to the spot, still gripping the cold cleaver tightly. Mind completely blank. The customers around me started whispering. So, little Hui is so unlucky running into people like that. Yay. Ah, his ex-girlfriend. Looking at that, she came just to trash the place. Exactly. Hearing this gossip, I felt like all my strength had been drained. I slowly put the cleaver down. It felt incredibly mocking. I resisted the temptation of money, but I couldn't protect my dad's rules. I lost, and I lost bad. I didn't know how I was going to explain this to my dad. If he knew I let a customer pack the meat buns for takeout, and in this way no less, he would definitely jump out of his hospital bed and beat me to death. I scratched my head in frustration, pulling out my phone. In the end, I still didn't dare call him. Whatever, it's just a few buns. If you really break my legs over it, at worst, I just get a scolding. I tried to comfort myself, but the unease in my heart only grew stronger. Just then my phone suddenly rang loudly. The caller ID said, "Dad." My heart skipped a beat, a bad premonition washing over me. I took a deep breath and answered, "Hello, Dad. Did you let a customer pack the buns for takeout?" On the other end of the line, my dad's voice was no longer weak and feeble like this morning, but filled with unprecedented terror and fury. That piercing tone almost shattered my eardrums. "Dad, hurry, go chase them down. Get the buns back. Otherwise, something terrible is going to happen." My dad's voice didn't sound like a kidney stone patient at all. The panic and urgency bleeding through the phone made my hand tremble. "Dad, don't panic. Listen to me. Listen to my villain." He didn't give me a chance to get a word in, his voice cracking from screaming. "I'm asking you, was it a woman driving a fancy car who snatched the buns?" My mind buzzed. How did he know? Wasn't he at the hospital? Did he have clairvoyance? My dad seemed to guess what I was thinking, his voice rapid and urgent. "Don't worry about how I know. Right now you go after that person. Immediately get every single bun she shoved into her bag. Bring them back to me. Go now, Dad." "No. So, it's just a few buns. Is it really that serious? They're long gone. Where am I supposed to chase them?" I still felt like he was making a mountain out of a molehill. Wasn't it just that villain Lin Yu trying to piss me off? By snatching a few buns? How is that something terrible? Is it that serious? This is nowhere near as simple as you think. If you still acknowledge me as your father, then get your villain out there and chase them down right now. If you can't find them, don't bother coming back. He hung up on me. I stood there holding the phone dumbfounded. Few customers still eating in the shop. We're all looking at me like I was crazy. My dad had lost his mind, disowning his son over a few buns. What kind of logic was that? I was both angry and anxious, but also felt a vague sense of dread. My dad his whole life wouldn't bat an eye even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him. What was wrong with him today? That bone-deep terror. I could feel it even through the phone line. "Little Hui, did your dad say something?" I shook my head. My mind a tangled mess. My mind a tangled mess. "I need to step out for a bit. Just leave the money on the table when you're done." I didn't have time to worry about anything else. I ripped off my work uniform, tossed it on a table and dashed out the door. My dad's reaction was way too abnormal. There had to be some hidden truth I didn't know about. Whatever it was, I had to find Lin Yu first. But where? Looking at the endless stream of traffic, completely lost, a white Land Rover should have stood out like a sore thumb in a place like this. Earlier, I hadn't paid any attention to which way they drove off. I spun around in a panic, then remembered I still had Lin Yu as number. After we broke up, I had blocked her on everything. But that string of numbers was burned into my brain like a brand. I couldn't forget it even if I tried. With trembling hands, I dug her number out of my block list and dialed. "Sorry, the number you have dialed is busy. Please try again later." Busy, my villain. She definitely blocked me. I switched to calling her on WeChat. Luckily, she hadn't deleted me there yet. I called her directly through voice chat. It rang for a long time. Just when I thought she wouldn't answer, the call connected. "Chen Hai, why are you calling? Want to beg me to give your buns back? Let me tell you, I won't leave a single bite for you. I'm asking you, where are you right now?" I practically roared. The other end went silent for a few seconds, seemingly startled by my intense, "Who is it, little you? Is it that bun seller again? Is he still at it? Tell him if he keeps harassing you, I'll get someone to deal with him." "Hear that? Lin Yu Wei, listen to me. Take those buns out of your bag and throw them away. Hey, okay? I'm begging you." I forced myself to calm down, trying to make my voice sound less terrifying. Instead of chasing her down, it was better to have her get rid of those doomed buns first. As long as the buns were gone, maybe I could explain things to my dad. Throw them away? Why should I? Chen Hui, are you sick in the head? It's just a few buns, isn't it? Are you really taking it this far? Is your data psycho too? I'm not throwing them away. I'm taking them home and eating them one by one, just to piss you off. I don't have time to waste on you. Mr. Wang is taking me to the mall to buy a bag. Hanging up. Don't hang up. Hang up. Hang up. There's something wrong with those buns. You can't eat them. Something wrong? Like what? What did you poison them? If you poison them, I'd be even happier. I'll take a bite right now. If I die, I'll. Back of my hand instantly scraped raw, stinging with pain. That stupid woman. She had no idea how serious this was. No, right now I was the stupidest one. I didn't even know what the abyss was going on. I called my dad again, and this time he answered quickly. Where are they? Do you know where they are? No, she blocked me. She didn't tell me where she is. She even said she's definitely going to eat those buns, Dad. Tell me what exactly is wrong with those buns. If you don't tell me clearly, how am I supposed to find them? Where do you want me to look now? The other end of the line fell silent. A long silence. Could only hear his heavy, ragged breathing, like he was suppressing immense pain and fear. Dad, say something. You go look at the Jinbi Huihua Mall in the west side of the city. There? Could it be? I had seen that fat guy was a regular at Jinbi Huihuang. If they wanted to go shopping, they'd definitely go to the biggest mall downtown. How do you know? Don't worry about how I know. He impatiently cut me off again. And do whatever it takes to get those buns back if they've already eaten them. He paused, a tremor in his voice. What happens if they eat them? I pressed, my heart pounding. If they've eaten them, tell them. Whatever they do, do not turn around and do not agree to any exchanges with anyone. No matter what they see or hear, pretend nothing happened. Just keep walking straight ahead. Go somewhere crowded where there's plenty of sunlight. Got it? My dad fired off these words rapidly and urgently. Every word nailed into my heart like a spike. Don't turn around. Don't agree to exchanges. What the abyss was this? Why did it sound exactly like the ghost stories old people tell? My mind was a chaotic mess, but my feet didn't dare stop. I rushed to the curb and hailed a taxi. Driver, to the Jinbi Huihuang Mall downtown. The car quickly starts, speeding off, leaving this suffocating slum behind. I lean my head against the window, watching the city streets blur past, the unease in my heart growing stronger. What exactly are you hiding? I tossed the driver 100 yuan bill, didn't even wait for change, and sprinted inside as fast as I could. I had been to this mall before. Back when I was dating Lin Yu, I was just a poor college student then. She dragged me around the luxury stores and I didn't even have the courage to step inside. I'd only able to stand awkwardly by the door. Yet here I was, coming back to find her. How I run. The AC in the mall was blasting. A completely different world. For my greasy breakfast joint, glamour's young men and women brushed past me, leaving trails of expensive perfume. The looks they gave me were full of screw me. Only then did I realize I was still wearing my sweat-drenched clothes. My hair a mess, completely out of place here, but I couldn't care less. I pulled out my phone, intending to call Lin Yu again, only to find I was still blocked. Had to search floor by floor, from the cosmetic section on the first floor to women's fashion on the second, then up to menswear on the third. I ran through the crowds like a headless fly, my eyes straining to scan every face. Nothing. Did they not come here, or had they already left? Was my dad's information wrong? The more I searched, the more panicked I got. Cold sweat beating on my forehead. Time ticked by minute, second by second. My dad's panicked voice on the phone kept echoing in my head. Something terrible is going to happen. Something terrible. What terrible thing? I ran up to the food court on the fourth floor. Still nothing. Could they have gone to the movies? I sprinted all the way up to the cinema on the top floor. Looked around the ticket counter and entrance for a long time. Still no familiar faces. I was completely out of options. I leaned blankly against the wall, feeling like all the strength had been drained from my body. In a mall this huge, whose finding two people was like looking for a needle in a haystack. What should I do? Give up? Just treat this as an absurd morning? My dad suddenly went crazy and I ran all the way here like an idiot. No, my dad's reaction couldn't be fake. That absolute terror from deep within him, I could feel it. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to calm down. If I were weighing how each shop after shopping, then what he drove here. Where is the car parked? The parking garage. My eyes lit up, like grabbing onto a final lifeline. They had to go down to get the car eventually. I immediately turned and dashed to the elevator, hitting the button for basement level B2. The moment the elevator doors opened, a damp, freezing draft hit my face, a stark contrast to the warmth of them all above. The parking garage was vast and empty, the lighting dim. Rows of cars sat in silence, like giant beasts lying in wait. The sound of my footsteps echoed in the quiet space, incredibly loud. As I walked, I carefully scanned for that white Land Rover. The garage was huge, divided into multiple zones. I started searching row by row from Zone A. The temperature down here was much lower than outside. I couldn't help but shiver. I didn't know if it was just in my head. I kept feeling it chill down my spine, like someone was staring at me. I whipped my head around, but there was nothing behind me, just cold rows of cars. I laughed at myself. Zone C, finally, in a corner of Zone D. I spotted the familiar white Land Rover. I remembered the license plate too. The last 3 digits were 888. That's it. I pressed my face against the glass and looked inside. The passenger seat sat Linu's designer handbag. The buns were definitely in there. I tried the door handle, but it was locked. What now? Smash the window? No, that would put me in the wrong, and Wang Hao would absolutely call the cops on me. I had to wait. I didn't believe they wouldn't come to get the car. I found a pillar, hid behind it, and kept my eyes glued to the Land Rover. Time ticked by minute. The garage was terrifyingly quiet. Only the buzzing of the fluorescent lights overhead and the occasional sound of dripping water from who knows where. Drip drop. The sound beat against my heart rhythmically, making me increasingly agitated. I checked the time on my phone. It was almost noon. Why weren't they down yet? If they didn't leave, was I supposed to wait here all day? Just as my patience was about to, I quickly pulled my head back, peeking out with half my face from behind the pillow. 2 people walked out, a man and a woman. It was Lin Yu and Wang Hao. Their hands were full of shopping bags. Looks like quite the haul. Lin Yu was smiling brightly, practically hanging off Wang Hao's body. Wang Hao looked incredibly smug, sticking out his beer belly, acting like he was the center of the universe. I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my palm. Now's the time. I took a deep breath, and just as I was about to rush out, right at that moment something horrifying happened. Wang Hao walked up to the car about to open the door, when he suddenly froze, as if sensing something. He jerked his head around, looking straight toward where I was hiding. I was so scared I immediately ducked back, my heart pounding wildly. Did he spot me? Impossible. I was hidden so well. I waited a few seconds, heard nothing, and cautiously peeked out again. Wang Hao was still looking in my direction, but he wasn't looking at me. He was looking at the pillar behind me, his face twisted into an incredibly bizarre, "Oh, nothing." Wang Hao shook his head, turning back, muttering, "I thought it." Behind me was the pillar, and behind the pillar was the wall there. There was absolutely nothing there. "Oh, your eyes are playing tricks on you. Hurry up and open the car. I'm exhausted. My legs are falling off." Lin Yu urged impatiently. Wang Hao grunted in response. Pull out the car keys and press the button. The Land Rover's lights flashed twice. He pulled the door open, about to toss the bags inside, when he froze again. This time he looked up at the roof of the car. His face instantly turned pale. "Do you hear that?" "But, hear what?" "What sound? Isn't it just that broken light in the garage, buzzing so annoyingly?" No, it's someone up there, scratching the roof with their nails." His eyes wide with terror, Wang Hao stared fixedly at a spot on the roof, of fine beads of sweat breaking out on his forehead. In broad daylight, where would a person come from? Besides, there are security cameras down here. Who would be that bold? Ha 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 ha. She clearly thought it was a lame joke, laughing hysterically as she looked up at the roof. "What are you looking at? Ha ha ha." She was halfway through her sentence when she suddenly choked on her words. The smile on her face froze instantly. Hiding behind the pillar, my heart leaped into my throat. What did they see? Following their gaze, I strained my eyes to look at the roof of the Land Rover. There was nothing. The roof was smooth and shiny, reflecting the cold light from the dim lamps, let alone a person. You couldn't even see a single hair. So what were they so terrified of? "Let's go. Hurry up and let's go." Wang Hao suddenly reacted like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, throwing the shopping bags onto the ground and dragging Lin Yu, trying to dive into the car. His movements were clumsy from fear. Lin Yu was also scared out of her wits, her face pale, lips trembling. "I couldn't let them just leave like that. My dad said I had to get those buns back." Blood rushed to my head, not caring about how bizarre or creepy this was anymore. I charged out from behind the pillar. "Stop right there." My sudden appearance clearly scared the living daylights out of both of them. Wang Hao trembled violently while Lin Yu screamed at the top of her lungs, looking at me like she was seeing a ghost. "Chen Hui, why are you here?" I'm here to get my stuff back. Give me back my family's butt. Bones, bones, bones. Yes, the bones. I told you our shop doesn't do takeout. Give me the buns back and we'll call it even. Are you crazy? Over a few buns. You chase us all the way from the slums to here. You're stalking us? I'm not here to negotiate with you. My gaze swept past him, walking on to Lin Yu. Lin Yu panicked under my stare, instinctively clutching the handbag to her chest. Hand over the bun. I took these with my own skills. Why should I give them back to you? Are you sure about that? Right at that moment, flailing his arms wildly, slapping his shoulders and back, cursing loudly. Why is this place so cold all of a sudden? Why is the AC blasting so high? As he spoke, he exhaled a puff of white mist. White mist? The garage was cold, sure. Not cold enough to see your breath, right? It was the middle of summer. I noticed Wang Hao's lips, without me realizing when, had turned a purplish blue. His complexion was getting worse by the second, like someone who had just stepped out of a freezer. Mr. Wang, what's wrong with you? I'm cold. So cold, little you. Little UAI. I feel like behind my back, like someone is blowing air on me. As he spoke with a look of absolute terror, he snapped his head back to look behind him. There was nothing behind him, but I felt the chill shoot straight up from the soles of my feet to the top of my head. My dad's warning echoed in my ears again. If they've eaten them, absolutely do not turn around and do not answer if anyone calls. The heart skipped a beat. Did you guys eat the buns? When? We're screwed. That was the only thought left in my head. Cold. It's so cold. My shoulders are so heavy. He's a baby. Wang Hao started babbling nonsense, his body curling up, hugging his trembling arms tightly. His designer suit was soaked in cold sweat that clinging to his body. I stared at him and suddenly realized his right shoulder seemed to be slumping lower than his left, as if some heavy object was pressing down hard on him, something invisible. The moment that thought crossed my mind, goosebumps erupted all over my body. What the abyss was going on? Chen Hui, check on Mr. Wang. What's wrong with him? Check on him. Hurry, Mr. Wang. Snap out of it. Stop scaring me. Little you, it hurts. Did you put poison in the bottom? I didn't. Now is not the time to point fingers. I suddenly remember the second half of my dad's instructions. Go somewhere crowded where yang energy is strong. Help him upstairs. Get inside the mall. There are people there. Upstairs, Lin Yu is stunned. His body was as cold as a block of ice even through his clothes. I could feel that freezing chill piercing straight into my bones. Moreover, his body was terrifyingly heavy. I'm 6 feet tall and work out regularly. Yet, supporting him felt incredibly strenuous. It was as if what I was hauling wasn't a person, but a dead pig. No heavier than a pig. Lin Yu snapped out of it and quickly ran over to help. The two of us, one on each side, drag Wang Hao toward the elevator like a dead dog. Don't touch my back. There's someone behind me. His eyes stared in panic at the space behind us. His pupils dilated. I didn't dare turn around, just gritted my teeth, using every ounce of my strength to drag him into the elevator. The elevator doors slowly closed right at the moment the gap sealed shut. But I thought I heard a sound. The faint, weeping sigh of a woman echoing toward us. That sigh was filled with overwhelming resentment and an endless gnawing hunger. The white light in the elevator cast a bizarre glow on Wang Hao's bruised face. We're still sure. What exactly is wrong with him? Lin Yu asked me between subs, her mind a mess, completely losing her composure. How was I supposed to answer her? Tell her he ate something he shouldn't have, and now there's an invisible thing clinging to him. It'd be a miracle if she didn't think I was a psycho. I don't know, I had to say. I pulled out my phone, my hands trembling so much I couldn't even unlock the screen. After trying several times, I finally managed to call my dad. Dad, he ate it. He ate one of them. My voice was shaking so badly it didn't even sound like me. On the other end of the line, my dad let out a long, heavy sigh. Sighed compared to what I just heard at the elevator doors was eerily similar. I stopped my feet in sheer panic. The elevator was already cramped, and with my sudden movement, I scared Lin Yu into shrinking back into a corner. Wang Hao was still slumped heavily against me, like a pile of wet mud, constantly muttering about how cold he was. Yet his body temperature was terrifyingly hot. It was literally a clash of ice and fire. Don't panic. The more you panic, the more that… Now listen to me and do exactly as I say, not a single mistake yet. Yes, yes. Tell me, Dad. I'm listening. First, ask that girl if the rest of the steam buns are still in her bag. I immediately snap my head toward Lin Yu. They're still here. I haven't touched them. Good. That's good. A silver lining in this mess. Now find a place with no people immediately, like a restroom. Why the restroom? Dad, just go when I tell you to. You. Stop asking questions, go into the restroom and take out all the remaining buns. Then what? Find a lighter and burn them all. Burn them to ashes. What? Burn them. What? Burn them. Dad, this is a shopping mall. If we burn things in the restroom, it'll set off the fire alarm when the security guards show up. How are we supposed to explain it? Explain my villain, what's more important? Being treated like a lunatic and taken away, or letting that Wang kid die? You choose. I was so choked up, I couldn't say another word. And after I burn them to ashes as fine as possible. Tap water, burn the buns. Tap water, burn the buns. Burn them to ashes and mix them with water to drink? What kind of method is this? Dark magic? Dad, are you sure this will work? Isn't that just making him drink ash water? Can people even drink this? What if something happens to him? I really couldn't believe my ear. It's better than letting that thing drag him away. My dad's voice was as cold as ice. That batch of buns was steamed with the strongest yang energy fire, infused with my life's essence and spirit. Now that they're tainted by yen energy, they become a guiding beacon. If you don't sever this connection, that thing will follow him forever, until it sucks every last drop of yang energy from his body. Hearing these words come out of my dad's mouth felt both foreign and terrifyingly matter-of-fact. My mind was a tangled mess. Just then the elevator reached the first floor. As the doors opened, the noisy chatter and warm air of the mall flooded in. Wang Hao's conditions seemed slightly better. At least he wasn't shivering as violently. Absolutely do not let that Wang kid see you, and don't let him hear you either. Otherwise, even the leaders descending from the realm above won't be able to save him. After saying that, my dad hung up. I looked at my phone, then it lit up. She was looking at me too with eyes full of shock and terror. You heard everything. So what do we do now? I asked her, but I was really asking myself, believe it or not. But, believe it, it was all too absurd, like a fairy tale from the Arabian Nights. Don't believe it? Then how do I explain Wang Hao's half-dead state right now? How could I explain that? Could a hospital even cure this? Should I tell the doctor he feels like something is hanging on to him? I'll go find a lighter. Lin Yu gritted her teeth, as if she had made up her mind. She shoved Wang Hao onto me and stumbled away. Running toward a convenience store in the mall, I was left to hold Wang Hao up by myself. He felt like he was getting heavier and heavier. His eyes were glazed over, half closed, his pupils dilated. He was still muttering unconsciously. Goosebumps erupted all over my body. I hurriedly dragged him into the nearby men's restroom. I sat him down, leaning against the corner wall, then locked the door from the inside. Soon enough, Lim Yu returned, holding a brand new lighter. Tear streaks were still wet on her face. The convenience store owner asked me what I needed a lighter for. I said it was to light my dad's cigarette. She spoke, her voice choking with sobs. The once arrogant and domineering Lin Yu, who used to look down her nose at me, looked so utterly helpless right now. I didn't say anything, just took the lighter from her hand with troubling hands. She reached into her designer bag and took out the remaining meat buns. The buns were completely cold, deflated and soggy. On the white dough, there was a lingering scent of cosmetics from her back. But the eerie part was between the folds of the buns. I could swear I saw black spots. It looked exactly like mold. I remembered very clearly. When I gave her the buns this morning, there was absolutely nothing like this on them. Burn them. Burn them quickly. I nodded, placing the buns on the sink, and flicked the light. With the times, something bizarre happened. They were obviously made of flour, with fatty meat filling inside, but the moment the flame touched them, they ignited with the times whoosh. What's more, the flame wasn't a normal yellow-orange. It was a terrifyingly eerie green flame, and an indescribable foul stench instantly filled the entire restroom. It didn't smell like burnt meat. It smelled like something that had been rotting for a very long time and was now being incinerated. Both Lin Yu and I couldn't help but cover our noses. Wang Hao, who was in the corner, seemed to smell it too. He started thrashing violently, letting out guttural growls from his mouth, as if he were wrestling with something. I gritted my teeth, grabbed a remaining bun, and threw them all into the green fire. The flames roared even fiercer. I could even hear sizzling sounds coming from the fire like something being deep-fried in a vat of oil. Along with that, there were faint ear-piercing shrieks. The sound was shrill and blood-curdling. Definitely not made by a human. Lin Yu collapsed onto the floor in terror, covering her ears tightly with her hands. My scalp went numb too, but I didn't dare. Very quickly, the buns were reduced to a pile of black ash. The eerie green flame gradually died out and the foul stench faded with it. I looked at the black ashes on the sink, then glanced at Wang Hao in the corner. He had gradually quieted down. I breathed a small sigh of relief. Bring me a cup. I used my hands to gather this still warm ash, carefully sweeping every bit into the cup. Then I turned on the faucet. Freezing tap water gushed out. I filled the cup to the brim. The black ashes dissolved in the water, instantly turning the whole cup as murky as black ink. Drink. He really has to drink this. 11. Drink. He really has to drink this. If he doesn't, then he's probably beyond saving. Wang Hao, wake up. Chen Hui. How are you feeling just now? I think I had a nightmare. I dreamed there was a woman clinging to my back. She kept saying she was hungry, so hungry. Lin Yu and I exchanged a look, both seeing the sheer terror in each other's eyes. Don't overthink it. I brought the cup of water right up to his mouth. Drink some water. And frowned. The antidote. Antidote. What the abyss is this black sludge? It looks like ink. Is this even drinkable? Drink it if you want, don't if you don't. If you don't want a repeat of that nightmare, then chug this whole cup. My tone was firm, leaving no room for doubt. Wang Hao hesitated. He glanced at the cup in my hand, then at the pale-faced Lin Yu standing nearby. He seemed to vaguely realize what was going on just now. What exactly happened to me? He asked Lin Yu. Lin Yu's lips parted, but she couldn't utter a single word. What was she supposed to say? Tell him he was possessed by a ghost, crying and screaming in the parking garage like an absolute lunatic. You were possessed. Possessed? Wang Hao let out a mocking laugh. This smile looked worse than crying. Chen Hui. What the? Have you been reading too many web novels? We live in a civilized scientific era. There's no such thing as being possessed. Then tell me, how does science explain what just happened in the garage? You were screaming about being cold and yelling that someone was riding on your back. The AC down there was just too cold. I must have caught a cold. A cold. Made you feel someone blowing air into your ear. Made your shoulders feel like they were weighed down by 1,000 pounds. Wang Hao, stop lying to yourself. You ate my family's steamed buns. There was something wrong with those buns. You admit it. I knew you poisoned the buns. I didn't poison them, but those buns really aren't something you can just take out of the shop to eat. My dad's rule isn't about some stupid flavor. It's to save the lives of skeptics like you who don't believe in the supernatural. Control. Even I didn't know why I was saying these things. Maybe it was because of that green flame earlier. The nauseating stench and those faint shrieking wails. They made me view my dad in this bunch shot in a completely new light. It completely shattered my worldview. Words clearly intimidated Wang Hao and Lin Yu. They were both looking at me like I was some kind of monster. What exactly does your dad, to sell steam buns? An old man who's been selling buns for 30 years, setting up a bunch of bizarre rules. Whether you drink it or not is I can only tell you this cup of water might be your only way to survive today. I've done what I needed to do. I've said what I needed to say. The choice is his. Wang Hao held the pitch-black cup, his hands still shaking uncontrollably. He stared at the murky liquid inside, expression shifting constantly. His survival instinct and fear of the unknown were tearing him apart inside. Time ticked by second. The restroom was terrifyingly quiet. Just drink it. Chen Hui won't hurt you. What happened just now was really scary. Maybe Ling used words work, or maybe he figured it out himself. Wang Hao gritted his teeth, squeezed his eyes shut, that tilted his head back and chugged the filthy black water. He gulped it down in a rush, as if afraid he'd change his mind. Once finished, he tossed the cup onto the floor and started coughing violently. Cough, cough. What the abyss is this tape? Cough, cough. It tastes like burnt dirt. He coughed and spat repeated, looking utterly pathetic. Lin Yu and I watched him tensely, not even daring to breathe too loudly. Would it work? Was it actually effective? Right then Wang Hao's coughing abruptly stopped. He suddenly clutched his stomach, his face twisting in extreme agony. His face twisted in extreme agony. Chen Hui, what the did you make me drink? I was dumbfounded too. What was going on? Wasn't he supposed to be cured after drinking it? Why was he suddenly having stomach cramps? Dad, what's happened? Did he drink it? He did, but he's writhing in pain. Did something go wrong? Don't panic. It's working exactly as it should. He's about to die from pain. How is this right? That thing isn't so easily chased away. It already crawled into his stomach. If you want to force it out, of course it's going to hurt. Dad, he can't hold on much longer. Wang Hao, get into a stall quick. You might excrete some things that aren't clean. Once it's out, you'll be fine. Before I could even react, Wang Hao sprang up from the floor like a madman and stumbled into the nearest stall. With a time's bang, he slammed the door shut. Immediately after, I heard an earth-shattering noise, a long, echoing blast reverberating through the room, right on its heels, 100 times worse than when we burned the buns. That smell. Words simply couldn't describe it. It was like a truck full of rotten eggs mixed with decaying fish, plus a ton of year-old fermented manure, all left to ferment in a century-old sewer, and then suddenly exploding with a time's boom. Lin Yu was the first to break. She leaned against the wall and started vomiting violently. The smell hit me so hard, I saw stars, my stomach churning and heaving. I swear, I had never smelled anything so vile in my entire life. My dad's breakfast shop, the smell of grease, sweat, sewage, it had it all. But I had never felt this nauseous before. Or what the abyss did he just out? I didn't know. What the abyss did he just out? I didn't know, and I didn't want to know. I just prayed the smell would dissipate quickly. A flushing sound came from the stall. Then with a creak the door opened. Wang Ho stepped out, clinging to the door frame. His face was still pale, but it didn't have that deathly purplish hue anymore. His clothes were drenched in sweat, looking like his eyes had regained their clarity. I'm okay now. Do you still feel like something is clinging to you? Oh wow, it's gone. The feeling is gone. My back isn't cold anymore and my shoulders don't feel heavy. He jumped up and down in joy even though his legs were still a bit wobbly. It worked. Your dad's method actually worked. I let out a long sigh of relief, feeling like I was about to collapse myself. This entire morning, everything I had been through was more thrilling than my entire 20-something years of life combined. Wang Hao walked up to me, his expression complicated. He looked at me, his lips moving, wanting to say something but holding back. Finally, he pulled out his wallet, took out all the cash inside, about 10,000 yuan, and shoved it forcefully into my hands. Take this today. Thank you, really. His tone, there was none of the arrogance from this morning. His overbearing, entitled attitude was gone, replaced by a hint of reverence, awareness toward me, or rather, toward my dad, awareness toward my family's mysterious bun shop Chen Hui. And, thank you. I looked at the stack of cash in my hand, then at them, suddenly finding it ironically funny. This morning, they used money to humiliate me. Now they were using money to thank me. It was still the same money, but the meaning was completely different. You're dead. What exactly does he do? Eyes lingered on my dad's identity as a bun shop owner, and the whole supernatural event that had just unfolded right before his eyes. He kept shifting his gaze hesitantly. Clearly, the simple identity of a bun seller was no longer enough to convince him. How was I supposed to answer? Should I say? I didn't know either. I looked at him, then glanced at Lin Yu. A sudden thought popped into my head, one that even startled me. Want to know? I mimic my dad's demeanor, giving a profound, enigmatic smile. Come to my shop tonight. I'll tell you everything. The moment those words left my mouth, I stunned myself. What the abyss was I doing inviting them to my family's shop, to the place I wished I could stay away from for the rest of my life and tell you everything? An absolute idiot. But for some reason, once the words were out, an indescribable thrill surged within me. Seeing the terrified expressions on Wang Hao and Lin Yu's faces, a mix of curiosity and sheer horror, I felt like I had turned the tables. I was no longer the broke loser whose ex-girlfriend and her new guy publicly humiliated. I was a master holding a secret they knew nothing about, even if this master himself didn't know. Go to your shop. Wang Hao's expression was priceless. He wanted to go but was scared to death. Everything he had experienced today had completely shattered his worldview. The way he looked at me now was like looking at a shaman and human skin. What too scary? What too scared? Who said I'm scared? Wang Hao immediately straightened his back. A rich guy's pride could never be compromised. Fine, I'll go. What time? After 10 p.m. Them. After Wang Hao spoke, he glanced at Lin Yu. The two of them supported each other, struggling to drag themselves out of the restroom. That foul stench still hadn't completely dissipated. I quickly slipped out as well. Smelling the faint scent of perfume in the air, I felt like everything that just happened was an absurd dream. The green flame, the foul stench, the black medicine water, and Wang Hao's earth-shattering bowel movement. It all felt so surreal. I looked down at the thick stack of cash in my hand, then at the half-dried blood on the back of my hand. Only these things proved to me that it was all real. The breakfast shop my dad had run for 30 years in the slums, just hiding a secret I knew absolutely nothing about, and this secret, today thanks to Lin Yu's appearance, had a tiny corner of its veil lifted. I pulled out my phone, hesitated for a moment, but still called my dad. Dad. Yay. Is it handled? It's handled. That's good. Keep the money you have. Spend it however you want. You've had a hard day. Dad, don't you think you owe me an explanation? Explain what? Didn't I already tell you those bonds can't be taken to go? That's not what I'm talking about. Yang energy, yin energy, and that thing. What exactly is going on? What kind of family are we really? Letting it all out. My dad went silent again. This time the silence lasted even longer. Sigh. Aho-e. Some things are better left unknown. You just walk your broad path. I'll walk my single plank bridge. That won't work, Dad. What happened today? If it wasn't for pure dumb luck, how I might have died. What about next time? If there is a next time, and I'm still like an idiot who knows nothing, do you think I'll be able to handle it? Dad, I'm grown up. I'm not a kid anymore. I have the right to know the truth. Truth is, our Chen ancestors, generation after generation, have been cooking for the things buried beneath this slum. Cooking for who? To hungry ghosts. My dad dropped those two words as lightly as a feather. My mind buzzed. It felt like I had been struck by a sledgehammer. Even though I had a vague premonition, hearing it directly from my dad's mouth, the impact still made me weak in the knees. The reason our shop is here, the reason we haven't moved in 30 years, is to suppress the filthy things underneath. Every day before dawn, the first batch of meat buns out of the steamer has the strongest yang energy. That is the offering for them. If they eat it directly, they'll gain power and rise up to harm people. So it must be eaten right in the shop, by the living, combined with a warmth of human vitality accumulate. Only then can the yang energy inside the buns be contained, and through the unconscious breath of humans, the incense offering is passed down below. If it's taken to go, those piping hot, freshly steamed buns are like a blazing beacon in the dark. They'll attract all the foul things wandering around to swarm over. Whoever eats that bun is essentially opening the door for those things to rush in. They'll follow you, cling to you until they suck you, drive your life for it. The amount of information in my dad's words was truly overwhelming. For a moment, I couldn't quite process it. It felt like I wasn't listening to my dad tell a story, but listening to a myth about my own family's bun shop, dark and steeped in eerie ghostly vibes. Then when Lin US snatched the buns, how did you know? I asked another core question. I didn't know, but I felt it. This trait of art, ours, has been passed down to me for 9 generations. Dealing with those filthy things every day, naturally develop a sense for them. Every single bun carries my aura. The moment it was tainted by yin energy, my chest felt like it was pierced by a needle. Only then did I understand why my dad's voice on the phone was so panicked. Why he could accurately describe that it was a woman driving a luxury car. It turned out he knew everything. He had just been hiding it from me. Why didn't you tell me soon? Tell you for what? So you could be like me, stuck for life in this greasy, filthy shop, dealing with things that can't see the light of day. My greatest wish in life was for you to stay as far away from this place as possible. My dad's words were like a hammer striking a fatal blow to my heart. I had always thought he didn't let me take over the shop because he thought I was clumsy, because he thought I couldn't handle the hardship. I never thought that this was his way of protecting me, in his own way, with the silent, even somewhat stubborn love of a father, holding up a clean sky for me. Dad, all right, a grown man crying and whining. As long as everything is settled, it's fine. I'm tired today too. Go home and rest early. We'll talk about the shop tomorrow. No doubt. I'm not coming home tonight. If you're not coming home, what are you doing? I have plans. I told Wang Hao and Lin Yu to come to our shop at 10 p.m. tonight. I took a deep breath, feeling like I had never been as clear-headed and resolute as I was right now. They want to know what exactly our family does. I want to know too. So Dad, tonight tell me everything you know. I'm going to take over this shop. My dad was silent on the other end of the line for a full minute. I could even hear his breathing grow heavy with shock. What did you say? Say that again. I said I'm going to take over the shop starting today, starting right now. You're crazy. My dad finally exploded, his voice returning to its usual fiery anger. Chen Hui, let me tell you, I spent so much effort to push you out, to send you to college, to get you an office job, not for you to come back to this. Do you even know what you're saying? I know, I answered incredibly calmly. I understand better than ever. Dad, you've protected me for over 20 years. That's enough. Now it's my turn. Your turn? Your turn to do what? But inherit the family business, continue dealing with a bunch of hungry ghosts here, and be trapped in this tiny shop for the rest of your life, unable to go anywhere. Is this the life you want? I don't know if this is the life I want, I answered honestly, but before today I didn't even have the chance to choose. You shouldered all the danger and filth, only leaving me a life that seemed normal and bright. But a life like that is fake. It's floating in the sky with no roots. Today my feet finally touched the ground. I looked down at my hand. There was leftover flour on them, red marks from burns, and scrapes from hitting the utility pole. Today these hands chopped vegetables, minced meat, held a knife, life and saved the life. Very dirty, very tired, but very real. Dad, you're who always said our family's buns value the word chi. I didn't understand before, but now I kind of do. This chi isn't just the heat of the food, it's the vitality of the living. And even more so, it's responsibility. What bullshit responsibility? My dad doomed loudly on the other end. This is fate. A doomed, a shackle that our Chen ancestors haven't been able to shake off for generations. I worked so hard to pull you out of it. Why are you throwing yourself back in? Because I'm your son. Because my last name is Chen. If this is fate, then I'll accept it. If this is a doomed, then I'll break it. I can't let you shoulder it alone for your whole life, right? After I finished speaking, the other end of the line went dead silent again. And this time what I heard wasn't silence, nor was it a sigh. It was a suppressed, choked sob. My dad was crying. Man who in my memory always had a cold face, always looked impatient, always used his bamboo pipe and his grumpiness to express everything. He was crying. I held the phone standing in the middle of the bustling mall atrium and couldn't stop my own tears from falling. The two of us had never been like this. Separated by a phone line, yet able to talk so sincerely. We had always been separated by the thick steam, separated by the phrase kids shouldn't be nosy. Today that dividing wall was finally broken. Have you really thought this through? My dad finally spoke again after a long while. Well, his voice hoarse. I have. No regrets. No regrets. Fine. Then get everything in the shop ready tonight. Prepare incense, candles, and joss paper. That black wooden box under my bed, take that out too. The black wooden box? Got it. You'll know when the time comes. As for Wang Hao and Lin Yu, let them come. There are some things that outsiders like them should understand clearly, so we don't have more skeptics blindly walking into disaster later. Yes, hanging up the phone, I felt the heavy stone in my heart finally lift. Even though the road ahead was full of uncertainty in the supernatural, I felt more grounded than ever before because I knew starting today, I was no longer alone. I wasn't just some office worker drifting aimlessly in the city. Chen Hui. I was the young master of the old Chen family shop. Chen Hui. I took a trip home. It was the old house where, after my mom passed away, my dad lived all by himself, located right above the breakfast shop. The house was very old. My dad kept it very clean. I followed his instruction, and under the bed, I found that black wooden box. The box was made of sandalwood and was very heavy. There was no lock on it, only an antique brass latch. I didn't open it. My intuition told me that the contents inside should only be open in my dad's presence, or with his permission. I went to find the incense, candles, and joss paper. We always had these things at home. During holidays or special occasions, my dad would take them out. To honor my mom and our ancestors, I used to think it was just superstition, But looking at it now, maybe the ones being worshipped weren't just our ancestors. With everything prepared, I headed back to the shop. It was starting to get dark. The urban village was even more crowded and bustling at night than during the day. Crowds getting off work, the cries of street vendors, the cheerful chatter of children playing all blended into a symphony. Noisy yet full of life. Was this the warmth of human vitality my dad always talked about? But I turned on all the lights in the shop. Then I started cleaning. I wiped down every table, every stool, until they were squeaky clean. I used a brush to scrub the stubborn grease off the floor over and over. However, I worked very seriously, very focused, as if performing some special ritual. I used my actions to tell the shop, to tell the things that might be existing inside it. I'm back. Just past 9 p.m. I got a call from my dad. Ahoy. Listen to me. When they get there, don't say anything. Just let them sit in the shop first. Then, at exactly 10 o'clock, you need to have a fresh batch of buns ready to steam. Remember, from kneading the dough to putting them in the steamer, it must be done before 10. The moment the clock strikes 10, open the lid immediately. Why 10 o'clock? That's when yin energy is the heaviest and it's their feeding time. Feeding time? Open the steamer. Do I have to do what you said? And let the living eat them? No, tonight's batch isn't for the living. Not for the living? Then who is it for? You take the bun and place them on the steps in front of the shop, lined up in a row. Then burn Jaws paper next to them and light 3 incense stick. This isn't that the same as offering it directly to them? Didn't you say doing that would make them harm people? Normally, yes. But today is different. My dad's voice carried an authority I couldn't quite understand. Today the young master of the Chen family is making his first offering to them. This is the rule. It's paying respects to the local spirits. You have to let them know. From now on in this shop who calls the shots, you have to show them your sincerity, and you have to show them your rules. This batch of buns is an offering. 2. To tell them the Chen family has a new master. Starting tomorrow they follow our rules. If they want to eat, they have to obediently wait for the living to pass it to them. I only half understood, but I still took his words and memorized them word for word. At 9:50 I placed the last batch of buns into the steamer. White steam quickly billowed out. Right then 2 familiar figures appeared at the door. It was Wang Hao and Lin Yu. They had changed clothes, looking much more put together than earlier today, but the unease and they stood outside the door, looking at the brightly lit shop, and at me busy at work. They hesitated for a moment, not daring to step inside. I didn't look up, just casually dropped a line. You're here. Yeah, come in and sit down. Still 10 minutes until 10 o'clock. You're here? Yeah, come in and sit down. Still 10 minutes until 10 o'clock. Wang Hao and Lin Yu stepped in cautiously, like 2 kids visiting the city for the first time, full of vigilance and curiosity about everything around them. They chose a table closest to the door and sat down, sitting bolt upright, not even knowing where to put their hands. I ignored them, continuing my work, kneading dough, making filling, wrapping buns. My movements weren't fast, but they were very steady, step by step. Like memories carved into my bones. The shop was very quiet, with only the sound of me kneading dough and the bubbling of boiling water in the steamer. Wang Hao and Lin Yu were dead silent too, just staring at me. Their eyes went from initial curiosity to gradual astonishment. They probably didn't expect a guy who looked like a weak white to be so skilled at this kind of rough manual labor. It even had an indescribable rhythm to it. Do you do this often? I've done it since I was a kid. Then why did you go to college? Why work an office job? That question pierced my heart like a needle. Stopped what I was doing and looked up at him because my dad didn't want me doing this. I looked him dead in the eye because he felt selling steam buns was too humiliating. Lin Yu's face instantly went pale. He knew I said that on purpose for him to hear, and also for myself to hear. There was a time when I felt humiliated too. I felt my dad was useless for clinging to this rundown shop. I felt that smelling like grease made me inferior to others. I desperately wanted to escape, to prove I wasn't like them. But today I finally realized I was wrong, so incredibly wrong. I stopped looking at him, lowered my head, and went back to wrapping my bun. The atmosphere grew even more oppressive. The old-fashioned pendulum clock on the wall ticked away, every beat striking against our hearts. 957, 958. Dong dong, the clock struck exactly 10, long and mournful. At the very first chime, I forcefully threw open the steamer lid. Whoosh! a cloud of white steam several times thicker than during the day, mixed with the scorching savory smell of cooked meat instantly erupted. It blanketed the entire small shop. That steam was as thick as an impenetrable fog. Couldn't even clearly see Wang Hao and Lin Yu sitting across from me. I could feel they were scared out of their wits by this sudden change. Both shrink back. Don't move and don't make a sound, I ordered in a low voice. It wasn't loud, but in the dead silence it rang out incredibly clear. Sure enough, they didn't dare move a muscle. I took out from the steamer with the utmost care 10 freshly steamed meat buns. The buns were plumping white, bigger than the ones made during the day with sharper, more defined folds. After the light, they even seemed to give off a glossy sheen. Then I picked up the tray of buns and walked step by step toward the door. Every step I took was incredibly steady. I could feel it, countless pairs of eyes staring at me from the dark. There were the terrifying, and there were eyes from outside the shop, from the things I couldn't see. They were waiting for the offering in my hands. I walked to the door but didn't step outside. Instead, I carefully placed the tray firmly on the doorstep. On the top step of the 10 buns lined up in a row. Then I stepped back into the shop and took from under the counter the burning bin and candles I had prepared earlier. I lit the candles and placed them on both sides of the door. The flickering candle light stretched my shadow along across the ground. Then I lit a stack of joss paper and tossed it into the iron basin by the door. The flames flared up with the time's whoosh, turning the paper money into ashes, swirling in the night wind, drifting off into the unknown. Finally, I lit 3 incense sticks. Holding the incense with both hands, I faced the deep dark night outside the door and bowed respectfully 3 times. Neighbors, brothers from all directions. My voice wasn't loud, but it was enough for everyone inside and outside the shop to hear clearly. My name is Chen Hui, the new master of the old Chen family. I'm new here today, and I've prepared a small offer. Please don't mind its modesty. Consider it my way of paying respects to you all. In the past, my father was here. If his hospitality was lacking, or if he offended you in any way, from now on I'm taking over. Rules in my Chen family will not change. Every early morning, the first batch of buns will be used to pass yang energy, ensuring you all get a full meal. But rules are rules. What you shouldn't take, you absolutely cannot take. What you shouldn't eat, you absolutely cannot eat. As for what happened today, considering it was a first offense but also because my Chen family was careless in our watch, we'll let it slide this time. If there is a next time, don't blame me, Chen Hui said, for showing no mercy and turning hostile. After speaking, I took the 3 incense sticks in my hand and planted them straight into the incense burner by the door. Having done all this, I turned and walked back into the shop. I didn't look back at the buns, but I could feel the temperature outside seemed to drop a few more degrees. The night wind blew past, carrying with it like a crowd of people fighting over something, and like countless people whispering and sobbing. Wang Hao and Lin Yu were scared stiff. The 2 of them huddled tightly together, their faces as white as a sheet of paper, looking at me with eyes like they were looking at a dark being crawling up from the abyss. I didn't care. I just walked over to a table and sat down. I poured myself a cup of tea. The 2 of them trembled and sat down across from me. Who are you talking to just now? Take a guess. Master Chen. Wang Hao spoke up. The way he addressed me had changed from Chen Hui to Master Chen. Those steam buns, they'll eat them once they're done. They'll disperse. The 3 of us just sat there in the shop. No one said a word. About 10 minutes later, the gloomy, freezing sensation outside the door gradually faded, replaced by the normal nighttime hustle and bustle of the urban village. I stood up and walked to the door. The tray on the steps was still there, but the 10 buns on it had vanished into thin air. Not even a grease stain. Was as if they had never been there. The only thing was in the air. There was still a faint, lingering smell of meat. I picked up the tray, brought it in, sighed, and closed the shop door.